Thank you. I want to thank all of you for coming here today. It's a gorgeous day, beautiful day. There could have been so many other places you could have been today, but you chose to come here. And you chose to stay as long as you have. It's been a long day. There's been a lot to listen to. I was the last at bat, and hoping there'd be at least 50 people left when it came time to come up to this stage, and I'm seeing a whole ocean, and it's wonderful. Thank you all so much. "233 years ago, there were crowds similar to what we see today. 233 years ago, new Americans all around the 13 colonies were gathering and were filled with discontent because they didn't like what was happening all around them. Their God-given liberties were being taken away from them. They were being taxed without representation. They didn't like what was going on. Neither did the Crown. The British Crown didn't like what they were seeing. They were the rabble, the discontented rabble, led by a desperate group of ill-designing men. That was how King George described the Continental Congress. A desperate group of ill-designing men. At some point, the breaking point was reached, the boiling point was reached, they could take no more. And they revolted. And men dressed very much like I am went into battle and died by the hundreds, died by the thousands for a country that did not yet exist. They died for a dream. They died for liberty. And of the sweat, the buckets of sweat, the gallons of tears, and the oceans of blood shed to gain the independence of the United States of America, they convened once again and turned a loose confederation of states into the United States with a constitution. We became a republic. A republic of laws, not the whims of men. And when he left the Constitutional Convention, Dr. Franklin was approached by a lady who said, "What kind of government have you given us, Dr. Franklin?" He said, "A republic, madam, if you can keep it." So I'm here today, emerging out of the mists of time, dressed like I am, because I am not so much the messenger, but the message. And the message comes through me to you from Dr. Franklin, from John Adams, Samuel Adams, James Madison, Thomas Jefferson. They want to know, how is the republic? Will it endure? Will it survive? I'm here today, and I look out, and I see history being made all over again, history reliving itself. Because even back then, in the early days of the Revolution, a lot of people thought it was a lost cause. There weren't all that many people who supported our independence, and even fewer willing to fight for it. And there were very dark times shortly after we declared our independence. That was a very bad winter. That was the winter at Valley Forge. We all heard the stories. Ragtag assemblage of troops, just a few thousand of them left. Washington had been driven back from New York all the way to Jersey, and it looked like the end. That bleak, cold December in 1776. It was do or die. And he did. He took Trenton. That single Battle of Trenton turned the war. It gave the French inspiration in us. It told them we had the will to fight. And Franklin continued his negotiations to get us the assistance of the French, which he did. And we eventually won that war, not without tremendous sacrifice. Up there, you see that statue. If you haven't seen it, you must. It's a statue of a militiaman heading off to war, saying goodbye to his wife and children before he goes off, quite possibly to make the ultimate sacrifice. Today, we're not necessarily called out to make the ultimate sacrifice, but we are sacrificing. And today I see people doing things, writing things, saying things they would not have dreamed of doing a year ago. A year ago. Did any one of you ever imagine you would be here today? I didn't. A year ago, well, a little more than a year ago, my company moved out of New Jersey to Minnesota because they were unable to afford the taxes. And out of work, thought I might try to make a living as a writer. Then the election happened. The unthinkable happened. I never thought I would ever live to see anything like this. I never thought it would be possible. But it was, thanks largely to an egregiously partisan and nakedly, abusively biased mainstream media. They succeeded in engineering what was effectively a bloodless coup. And as the days turned into weeks and the weeks turned into months and the inauguration came around, I realized I was never going to finish that novel I was working on. There was something else I had to do. And I did it. And in January, I did what I like to think I do best. I'm a writer. So I thought, I'll blog this. I will blog the new American Revolution. And I started my own website. It's called Manly's Republic. And I adopted this persona as a reminder. As a reminder that you can never forget your past. Ever.